Hello all, my name is Karan and the topic of our theme for CIS665 presentation is Voice over Internet Protocol. Voice over Internet Protocol is usually pronounced in three ways, namely VoIP, Voice over IP, and just VoIP. I will be using the term VoIP for rest of the presentation. So, what exactly is VoIP? Well, VoIP is a method to interact via voice communication over the internet. That means we can receive and place calls anywhere across the globe using different types of network like local area network and wide area network. Today, VoIP is used in many communication industries like Facebook and Google. So, to begin with, let's discuss about the history and evolution of VoIP. The concept of VoIP is majorly based on three inventions, namely telephone, invented by Alexander Graham Bell, internet, and Internet Protocol, which was invented by Dr. Vint in 1972. VoIP was first used by Vocaltech in 1995. However, there was no video transmission that time, and also it required both the connected users to use the same software. Now let's discuss about some commonly used terms in VoIP. Those are protocols. Protocols is a standard procedure. Internet protocol, it is a standard procedure to communicate with devices based on devices' IP addresses. Packets are basically bits of data transmitted to communicate with the device. Routers help to transmit those packets, and bandwidth is rate at which a packet is sent. Before understanding VoIP, let's shed some light on how our analog telephones work. Analog telephones work on standard telephone services concept called as plain old telephone services or POTS or public switch telephone network, also called as PSTN. PSTN uses the concept of circuit switching. So what is circuit switching? Well, in circuit switching, when a call is made, a dedicated circuit is created between two phones. This circuit will stay open and constant till the call is not disconnected from either end. Due to this, if a long distance call is made even just for 10 minutes, it becomes very expensive. VoIP makes use of a modern technology called as packet switching. In packet switching, there is data transmission over the device's IP address. This data is split into packets and transmitted to the destination with the help of routers or Ethernet cables. This makes calls cheaper, faster, and more efficient than PSTN or any other analog phones. Now, to understand the working of VoIP, my teammate Chiranjeev will take over the presentation.
Hello, this is Chiranjeev Bhandari and I will continue the presentation by explaining the working of voice over IP. The figure shows the working of voice over IP. When a call is made over a mobile or a PC, that call or that audio is transmitted over internet lines through the internet router. This internet router sends the signal over local internet to the data centers. The data centers further sends the signal to the IP address of the destination. This IP is then collected by a router which gets connected to the destination computer and or mobile. So in the next slide we'll see how does the transfer of IP addresses take place. So how does the transfer take place? In this, first the voice over internet protocols operates by transferring voice signals between IP addresses. As both has different IP address, the host and the destination, So those IP addresses gets connected through VoIP. This when a call is made, the signal transforms into pieces of data. We call these pieces of data as packets. So when vocal samples from the sender are broken down into packets, which are given routing information and then sent to the receiving end, the packets are transmitted one by one, then reform as close to the original state as possible, creating one whole voice. This process compresses the voice signals and then decompresses the signal for the receiver. Now we'll see how to make a VoIP connection. The connection is actually can be made in three ways. First, it can be computer can be connected to the computer. Second is the phone can be connected to the phone. And the third is the phone can be connected to the computer or vice versa. These are the three connections that can be made over VoIP. So first, we'll see when a computer is connected to another computer, it sends the signals directly through any piece of network like LAN or WAN. So it is the most simplest form of connections and requires internet enabled computer and speakers, and it can take place on LAN as well. It has the same procedure as the phone to phone connections. But in the phone to phone connection, the difference is it cannot be connected over other types of networks. It can only be connected to the Wi-Fi. That is as call it 2G or 3G networks. In phone to phone connection, it implies using a phone set on each end to communicate. And this can be further done in two ways. One is from IP phones and one is from ATA, that we call as analog telephone adapter. In the IP phones, we connect two phones over the Wi-Fi or over internet connections. But in analog telephone adapter, through this we can connect one phone to the other phone without the Wi-Fi connections. So when a phone is connected through the IP phones like IP addresses, so that gets connected in the same way. It goes to the router, then to the data centers, and the data centers send the signal to the destination router. But in the analog telephone adapter, this takes place with the help of PSTN. The PSTN will be shown in the later slides. Now the third connection is phone to computer or vice versa. It also uses PSTN phones to call someone on this computer. As we have discussed what a protocol is, so now in the next slides we'll discuss how and what are the protocols that are mostly used in voice over IP. So there are many protocols that are being used, but some of the common protocols are H323. One is Media Gateway Control Protocol, and one is the most familiar to all, that's Skype protocol. So we'll just see in brief how what all are the features of these protocols are. The H323 protocol is the first kind of protocol that is being used by the VoIP. It is widely implemented by voice and video conferencing equipment manufacturers. These are not available to public, but still it's used within various internet real-time applications such as net meetings. The other protocol is Media Gateway Control Protocol. It implements the Media Gateway Control Protocol architecture for controlling the media gateways on IP and on IP networks. And it is a text-based protocol consisting of commands and responses. The other protocol is Skype protocol, which is very much familiar to all. This is available to public and we can use it anywhere in making connections. The Skype protocol is a proprietary internet telephony network based on peer-to-peer architecture that has been used by Skype. The other two protocols are real-time transport protocol and session initiation protocol. The real-time transport protocol considered primary standards to transport audio or video over IP networks. It helps in jitter compensation and detection of outer of the sequence data. Jitter is a kind of a problem that is used uh, that is mainly faced during the later periods when we make a call. It is used in collaboration with RTP and control protocols. This the real-time transfer protocol. The more on jitter problem will be available in the next slides. One is the session initiation protocol, the protocol for signaling and controlling multimedia communication sessions. It is a text-based protocol incorporating many elements of the HTTP, that is popularly known as hypertext transfer protocols, and the simple mail transfer protocols. These are mainly available for the websites and web development. This works in conjunction with several other protocols such as RTP as discussed earlier and the SRTP. Now the further presentation will be continued by Tarun. Thank you.
VoIP and traditional PSTN differs as follows. VoIP transmits voice signals over Internet by compressing the data to almost 10 kbps, hence it uses very little bandwidth. PSTN needs almost 64-bit lines to transmit signals, which is a lot in comparison to VoIP bandwidth. VoIP provides features as caller ID and caller waiting for free, whereas PSTN users are charged for these features. VoIP phones are connected to power outlets, hence they do not work during power outages, whereas PSTN phones are not connected to power outlets, hence they work during power outages. VoIP transmits voice signals as digital signals, which provide better error correction. PSTN transmits signals as analog signals, which have poor error correction capabilities. VoIP uses Internet connection to transmit data. PSTN uses dedicated hardwired lines to transmit data. 911 calls made through VoIP phones cannot always be traced back to its source. 911 calls from traditional landline phones using PSTN can always be traced back to its source. Some of the advantages of using VoIP are as follows. VoIP uses the Internet equipment that has already been built, so it needs less setup cost. Also, it costs less to maintain VoIP service. Time needed to set up a call connection between source and destination is less, hence VoIP provides faster mode of communication. VoIP services are not affected by geographic location and weather condition. A recent study shows that it is 98% reliable. VoIP networks can be easily expanded, which makes it a scalable network. Following are the disadvantages of using VoIP service. VoIP calls are less secure. They are susceptible to virus, worms, and hackers. Quality of VoIP service will be affected by hiccups in broadband connection, such as packet losses. There will be reduced call quality during multitasking on the web. 911 calls from VoIP phones cannot always be traced. VoIP phones are dependent on external power source, therefore they cannot be used in remote places where power is not always available. Following are some challenges faced in implementation of VoIP, which can be avoided by using correct architecture and protocol. Some packets may be lost during transmission of data from source to destination. This is called packet loss. When there is heavy internet traffic, there may be a delay in packet transmission. This is called traffic congestion. Both packet loss and traffic congestion causes jitter, which is a failure of a packet to be present at destination at expected time. Let us discuss the future scope of VoIP. In past decade, VoIP phones have replaced traditional landline phones, but they have not had similar impact on mobile space. In traditional mobile calling, mobile devices transmit the data to a nearby tower from where the data is transmitted to the destination. In future, it is expected that VoIP calling will replace this traditional mobile calling in mobile devices. Web Real-Time Communication or WebRTC was introduced by Google in 2011. It provides browser-to-browser communication without any external plugins. In future, it is expected that VoIP and WebRTC will be integrated, which will result in products as voice mailing. Unified communication is a marketing buzzword describing the integration of real-time enterprise communication services such as instant messaging, email, fax, and presence information. In future, it is expected that VoIP calling will be integrated into unified communications. Following are the references used to prepare this presentation. Thank you.